Can we start now?
Hey, all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals, I Tank, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, October 9th, and this is episode 237 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, Vegan Pete. Always by my side, the most egregious. I don't know if that's a good descriptive word or not, but here with me once again.
That's not a compliment.
Egregious?
That's not a compliment.
Most excellent.
Hey guys, Avi Ale here for some reason.
The most egregiously excellent Avi.
Okay.
That's like kind of alliteration, but not really. Anyways,
not
Avi,
a compliment.
Thank you for being here. You're always enigmatic.
You're just like thinking of E words. Or is enigmatic an I?
Ah ha ha ha, you don't know something. It's back to basics this week, baby. We've had some fantastic interviews and special guests of late, but we're keeping it simple. We're getting back to basics, sticking to the formula. The hubby and wife team is holding it down tonight for like the first time in 2 months, Avi?
Nearly, yeah.
But I think you guys noticed last week Avi had her full voice back. And as much as I love having guests, I love just having my wife here with me just as much, if not more. So thank you once again for returning, Avi.
I still don't think I really have a choice in the matter, but you're welcome.
You had like 2 months off, so I think that's enough. I think your losing a voice might be planned. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you're kind of like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to lose my voice now.
I just don't want to talk anymore. I did have an appointment with a speech therapist and just checked in with her a couple days ago. I have a follow-up appointment in about 2 weeks, and she does want me to continue to have a few appointments afterwards just to make sure like I know how to take care of my voice, and I basically can make sure to not strain it. So hopefully that will be helpful and beneficial going forward, because I know it's been kind of a chronic thing where at least like once a month I seem to lose my voice for at least a week. 7 weeks, mind you, was a bit excessive, but yeah, so there's that.
Just a bit excessive.
Just a bit. Just a little bit.
Well,
it was so cute. I do have to say it was so cute. So my speech therapist called me because, you know, we're like remote, and she's like, oh, you have a voice. Like, she was so excited. It was super cute. So yeah, it was almost like how excited my mom was to talk to me. It was really cute.
Yeah, stop yelling at Pete so much. Then you might keep your voice a little bit more.
Oh, I snap at him now. We've gotten this whole thing fixed, and the snapping is going to continue. Yeah.
Snap with the fingers, you mean. Not snap like, hey, Pete.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a perfect impression. Well, I'm sure the audience is glad you're back, Avi. I'm glad you're back. And I'm glad you're, like, feeling good, too. Like, it's not just like it's barely back. You're back.
I am.
Back, baby. Baby's got back.
I'm, just starting to feel where my voice doesn't surprise me anymore, because all last week it was kind of like every time I spoke.
Like a fart you didn't expect. You're like, how'd that come out?
No. More just like I felt very loud. But one of the interesting things is, you know, I'm like really chatty, and I'm more comfortable like with silence now because I kind of had to be. So, I don't know, it's something I've always kind of wanted to work on. So maybe that was the universe or whatever being like, shut up, and you're going to learn to be comfortable with silence because you have no choice.
Was kind of nice and sad at the same time. I'm like, I know she wants to talk. I know she's got stuff to say. And I don't have the best hearing either. So she tried to talk and I'd go, what?
He's not nice. I hate that sound effect.
What?
Oh, yeah.
It was a hard time in the shit household.
Yes. But I don't think I told you, Pete. I did tell my speech therapist that my husband every day would be like, did you do your exercises? And she was very proud of you for that. She thought that was really great.
I am amazing.
Yeah.
Let her know. Well, we didn't get to the sub shout-outs last week, so I think we should go ahead and get to that, because you guys really are the reason we keep on doing the show. We appreciate all the support you give us. So we have first-time subs from Dolvik and Fame and Canvas, 3 months for Demakase86 and Zalbag8, 4 months for Spookatron, 5 months for Serenity317 and Phoenix0220, 6 months, half a year for Exterminate, Batkid01, Reizna, Esperidolon, Fidu1. 7 months for Kitsune Claire and Lorosia. 8 months for Unlucky Assassin, Ivory Mist. And 9 months for Heavy Martillery. 11 months we have Allura for Real. 12 months Johnny Smith Apple hitting that 1 year mark. For 13 months we have Ursulacer and Mieko FF14. 14 months we have Sweezy, who continues that tier 3 sub. Thank you so much for that. Also at 14 months we have Raw Chicken Baguette. 15 months we have King of Nokos. 20 months we have Ace Kaneki with the tier 2 baby. 21 months for Broly 489, 22 for Shintir and Hyper Pixie Gaming. 26 months we have Venjic. 29 months KK McLeod Moderator Extraordinaire. 32 months for Aurori. 33 months for Aja 30. 36 months for a Sorceress 180, and the highest of them all, 38 months for the Real Hot Chili Pepper. Thank you so much, everyone. And it's not the first episode of the month. That's when we do our recurring subs, so that's why there's so many this week. And Batkid also gave a few as well, so maybe some of those first-time subs were due to Batkid. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And you know what's funny is while you're reading those names, I was like, oh, I haven't talked to that person in a while. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen that name. And I was just like, it's because you haven't had a voice, Avi. You haven't had a voice, so you haven't been here.
I was going to be like, don't remind them they're still subbed. Recurring sub. And don't forget, if you do have Amazon Prime, you do get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every month. As always, you don't have to use it on us. Just use it on some streamer because you will make their day. But maybe not use it on a famous person like T-Pain who's already rich. Use it on a small streamer.
Who's already rich?
Yeah. Even though I have enjoyed T-Pain streaming on Twitch. All right, Avi. I think everyone has been missing this segment. It's everyone's favorite segment.
Greenleaf Minute.
It's the Greenleaf Minute. And we finally got to hear Avi's lovely voice saying it. And Kid Mello redeemed some channel points, random lore. Maybe we'll do that right after you ask me a lore question. I think it will fit in there.
Yeah.
Usually we don't do...
You should probably disable those for the podcast.
Usually we don't do redemptions during the podcast, but I forgot about that. But we'll get to it, Kid Mello.
But thank you.
Your points will be redeemed. It's the Greenleaf Minute, and this week I want to talk about the beginning of crafting and gathering. Because people are always asking me, when is the best time to start crafting? What's the correct way to do it? Isn't it expensive to level up?
When you have nothing else to do.
And it's that last question I really want to address. Because I have a feeling that people think it's really expensive to begin crafting and gathering. And it's really not. But I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am not remembering correctly. I thought... It's been a long time since I went through leveling crafters from the beginning. Maybe it's more expensive than I thought it was. So I logged out of my main, hopped on another Gilgamesh character I had, Vegan Butcher, a level 50-something Black Mage that just recently got to Heaven's Ward. I didn't have any crafters leveled. So I thought, okay, that's the perfect character to start crafting on. And holy crap, Avi, it's so easy to make money crafting even at the beginning levels of crafting. I know in the past we've told people to level them all 5 levels at a time and kind of work them all together so you're always sharing the same gear all the time. But I was leveling so quickly with these, just making one of everything going down the list.
Okay.
And I got to level 20 on the first crafter I got in an hour. I don't know. It was very quick.
Do you know how much that cost you though?
Barely anything.
Well, what's barely anything to you? Because barely anything to you might not be barely anything to me.
Barely anything to me is it had to be under 1,000 gil.
Okay.
Which, as long as you're not trying to do it at level 5.
Right. So would you say wait to level your crafters and gatherers until you have your retainers? That way you can send your retainers out to start to sell the things that you're crafting. Because if you don't have that as a resource, then the things you're making kind of won't get the gil that you could get for them. So I think that's like the biggest tip.
That is actually the main point I wanted to get through on this.
I didn't even read it, and I knew that.
I didn't even write it down because I was trying to keep it a secret. I didn't want you to steal my thunder, and somehow you still did it.
I'm the smart one in the relationship.
Fucking mind.
Yep.
Yes. So what I wanted to get to was, do not do your crafters before you get your retainers, because you want to have a way to sell the gear that you're making. And like I said, I leveled really quickly just by making one of everything down the list up until like level 20. And then if you just throw that stuff on the market board, a lot of the stuff I was selling,
throw it and see what sticks,
was going for like 20k gil.
20k gil?
Which, you know, when you're level 80, that doesn't seem like a lot.
No, it's just the way you said it.
But when you're just starting out, 20k gil is a lot.
No, it definitely is, especially if you're using it to level you're like using it to level with. Like, that's what's great. And one of the biggest things with the retainers when you first get them is just sell everything on it. If it's if you don't have maxed out the number of items you can sell on it, like if it only sells for 400 gil, but like you would sell it to a merchant for 2 gil, sell it on the market board, just as long as it's more than what you would sell it to a merchant for, and you have like the available slots to sell it. Just sell.
Yeah, when I first started out with the game, like a brand new real Greenleaf, I sold absolutely everything.
Yeah.
If I got a bone chip and I could sell that for 5 gil instead of 1 gil, that shit was getting sold.
That sounds like you.
You can actually save those, and they're use some crafts that I just now recently found out. But yeah, it's really surprising how much some of this lowbie gear goes for, because people want it for glamour. There's not a lot of people making it, and we're on Gilgamesh, which is a very like crafter heavy server where a lot of like end game tinctures and stuff, potions, go for so cheap that I don't even bother making them myself anymore.
It's pretty nice. So when I first started, I first started doing the high-end raid with you guys. I remember how much everyone always complained about those, and I was like, this isn't bad. Yeah. That's why I'm spoiled.
It's literally not worth my time to make them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, for people who are worried about the beginning costs of gathering, as long as you're just making stuff on the list.
You mean crafting?
Crafting stuff on the list. You're going to be able to sell that and like bankroll your crafting for a while. The only way you're going to be running out of gil is if you're spending too much on glamour pieces, which hopefully you make that back eventually because you're becoming a crafter so you can make your own instead of buying them.
Are you though?
Or if you're taking the Avi route of leveling your crafters, which is buying pieces off the market board to turn into your grand company.
That's expensive.
But if you're actually like leveling your crafters on your own, making all the pieces, you can sell them. Then you're able to make your grand company pieces, which Avi was always capable of making her grand company pieces.
I just didn't care.
Just took the lazy route.
I didn't care. I didn't want to do it. It was more like I felt
like
I
had sugar daddy giving her gil.
No, you weren't. But I felt like I had more gil than I had time, and I didn't really want to level them. But it was like I was buying items as long as they were under like the HQ one with the star. If you got, we've gone over those before for Grand Company turn-ins. If they were the HQ and they had the star, which gave an EXP bonus, then I would pay up to 10,000 gil for it. And I didn't go expensive. Like if they were really expensive on the market board, I wouldn't do it. Or I would do research because some of those items you could buy from vendors and it wouldn't necessarily be HQ, but was like a cheap item. So I was thrifty in how I did it, but yeah.
Still expensive.
It's still expensive.
So if you're buying those for Grand Company turn-ins or you're buying the leave kits where you're just buying all the leave turn-ins, that can be expensive.
Right.
But I'm here to say like, easily you're going to get 1 through 20 and you're going to make money. And that's without doing a single damn leave. And when I went through the first time, I used leaves to level all my crafters, but I was making all my leave items. You're going to make money doing it that way too. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're leveling them all together and you have the jobs that can make like the leathers and stuff that you need or whatever, the ingots that you need for that.
The what?
Ingots.
The what?
You don't know what an ingot is?
I don't. What is an ingot?
Like a little rectangular or square piece of metal.
That was an ingot.
Motherfucker, you gonna try to make fun of me for my pronunciation?
I felt like it was missing.
I work in the fucking jewelry industry. We all call it ingot.
Oh, okay. I know everyone calls it ingot in game that I've talked to, and so that's actually good to know. But I just had to mess with you.
You call it ingot. You're an idiot.
Cricket.
Damn it, I thought that was better than it was.
Yeah, I like that you acknowledge your own joke was crickets.
Still better in my head, man. You guys
fair.
should come in sometime.
No, don't. All right, continue. I'm sorry with your Greenleaf.
That was pretty much it. I just wanted people not to get scared of trying crafting because they were put off by how expensive they might have heard it was going to be. If anyone says like crafting is expensive, it's because they're buying their pieces off their market board to turn it in.
I was put off. I was always put off from not wanting to craft, not because I thought it was expensive, but I thought it was going to be mind-numbingly boring. So I think maybe expensive is the reason you've heard the whole time, but I always heard like you level your crafters and that's how you make gil in the game. Like that was always the story like I heard. But for me it was I don't enjoy it, so I'm just gonna do these Grand Company turn-ins.
See, at the beginning levels, it's moving actually so quick now.
It didn't before. Yeah, it's much faster now.
Don't think it's that mind-numbingly boring, Aurora. I don't think so. I was leveling quickly, and I think because you leveled the way you did, when you got to the end game crafting and you wanted to make some of your own things, you didn't necessarily know how.
No, I did not.
And I will say, like, you get these abilities and you get them at an appropriate time when you're doing it this way. You really, if you just take 30 seconds and read the tooltip, you know how to craft, and they kind of spoon feed it to you.
I mean, that's if you're leveling it. But again, like if I leveled the job, Pete, I would have read it like that, but I did not enjoy it. And another thing I do want to say, and maybe if someone actually knows this, will you please tweet it to me? Because I couldn't find a guide that was like, so you've leveled all your crafters through Grand Company turn-ins or whatever. How do you craft? Like, what's the basics of how does this work? Because there was nothing that like explained the basics of how it worked and like what you should use when. Everything was like assumed you knew how to do it all. And I just had to have Pete stand there and show me how to do it, which took 5 minutes. It wasn't even that hard. Once I got like the gist of it, I was like, oh, I can do this. And I may have asked him a few times, but I couldn't find anything online that was just like.
So you wanted a guide that was like, you've leveled all your crafters, here's how you craft.
Well, I wanted a guide.
How'd I end up here?
I wanted a guide that was like the basics of how crafting works. Like how you understand the importance of, I don't know, what abilities you want to prioritize over others, instead of like it was everything I saw was just like, here's your macro for this like top tier thing. And I was like, well, my gear isn't top tier yet. How do I craft it if I'm not like an expert, amazing person? And no one had that information. Like, but the crafting rotations don't work that way, Phoenix, saying a crafting rotation, because it's based off of how much CP you have. And if you're like, don't have the best gear on your character, you can't use any of the crafting rotations that are out there. So you're like this under-geared character who can't quite do them.
If you're not melded, a lot of like the end game rotations aren't gonna work for you.
There's like this weird in the middle area that I was like, I just want to understand how to do it so that if I enjoy it, I can progress and then put the gil and the time and the effort into getting that gear so that I can get those stats so that I can use those rotations. But when you're at that like in the middle, it's definitely like a stopping point. Like if I wouldn't have had Pete to help me understand how to craft, I never would have done Ishgard Restoration because I would have gotten just mad.
The subtitle to that guide would be, so you weren't paying attention.
Right. Basically. Or you used a leaf kit. I mean, it's very common for people to use leaf kits and stuff. So you're acting like I'm the oddity, but this is a really common practice. So there's just that weird gap of like, I'm reading my tooltips and I understand how these work, but there's also like a different kind of mentality to it where, you know, oh, it's worth more. Sometimes it's worth it for you to have your abilities cost half as much, but sometimes it's worth it for you to use this ability that like increases the like there's just things that no one so Pete, if you're going to make a video, make it a obvious dumb crafting video on YouTube like that. I feel like there's that little gap of how do you do that?
Yeah, so while I was doing this, I did kind of like get the seed going that I can probably do like a 1 through 20. These are the abilities you're gonna get.
Spookerun just said I'd watch that.
Yeah. I can do like, these are the abilities you're gonna get, like 1 through 20. And then like in the first video, you have to explain the basics of like quality versus progress, because you didn't even really know that when you got to the end game of crafting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to do some of those. Honestly, there's a lot of great crafters out there. Ash10, I watch his videos, but they're more geared towards the end game crafter.
Yes.
So I think there is a little
Icarus recommended Ash10, so did Pete, and I tried, and I was like trying to go through all his videos, and there was like leveling. I'm like, well, I'm already leveled, and I'm at this Ishgard restoration, and I just want to like make this freaking thing that I have all the ingredients for that I don't know how to do, and I couldn't find a thing that just kind of explained the basic concepts of how it worked. I didn't need every ability explained to me. So
when I started crafting, there was like a text guide I went to, and it was from Kami, and it was on like FFIXV Realm, I think, and I fucking loved it. Like
that would be great for me. Yeah,
she described it just the way I fucking loved it. And I see her on the crafting forum sometimes, and she's like my favorite like crafting person that I've never talked about. But like I put that I like gave that guide to people, and like some of them were like, that's like too intricate to me, so I'm like, okay, I need to find a way to somehow like make it a little more, because she goes so into depth.
That's people who like really want to do
like,
it
so into depth that I fucking loved it.
Yeah, no.
But a lot of people were like, their eyes just kind of glaze over, and they're like, okay. But yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you should craft, and you should take your time. You should go 1 through 20. Then you should get your goddamn sellers out there, whatever they're called, retainers, and then you can make a fucking bank. Get that house that you won't be able to buy because there's no stock of houses. I don't know.
What?
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
I was just rambling.
I could tell. It's all right. Let's move on.
Yeah. To Avi's favorite segment.
Oh.
It's the tweet of the week. It is the tweet of the week, baby. I feel like we should do it like
no.
It's the tweet of the week. One for every week that you were out, do you think?
No, Pete. That's just stupid.
It's the tweet of the week. You good? Ready to go?
I'm great. Great. So
great. This tweet of the week is from Slime Blight. And they tweeted this on the 6th, and I did not see it until today. So I feel like we had a situation where Avi checked a notification and I didn't see it.
I don't remember this one.
They wrote, "Thank you guys so much for getting these LBR vets on. It's been such a nostalgia trip for me. I don't know if she has any interest in Final Fantasy XIV anymore, but if y'all could get Nika on too sometime, I would absolutely die. She was my favorite part of the show. Keep up the work, y'all. Heart."
Nika's a sweetheart. I'm sure we could reach out to her.
And spoiler alert, Nika was my favorite too, because I feel like Nika was probably, I don't know how much of a character she was playing on Final Fantasy XIV, which you just figured out they're playing characters last week.
I didn't really listen.
I don't know. She's more of my like little toned down. I'm not super not super like exaggerated.
She was the normal one?
Yeah.
She's your normie?
And she was a little more of a supporter of the game. Because I still have fun playing. What do you want me to say?
We know.
So yeah, thank you so much, Slimebite, and I will reach out to Nika. We have talked to her. We know her.
We do. All right. Well, there was that redemption earlier for some random lore, so isn't it time for... No, let's not do that version of it. I hate that version. Just play. Guys, Pete was reaching for the book. He's going to random... No, you're not...
We can still do it after.
No, we're not doing that on the podcast. That was the original idea for Teaching Pete lore, and everyone hated it because it was fucking boring. Even you hated it.
No, but this is random lore.
That's what that was, too.
Don't you want to hear about the Kikern?
No. Put it away. Put it down. Put it down.
Little rat people.
Put it down. I'll make a question for you about them, and you can answer it later.
Kid Mello, he's going to get his points
This is his lore. This is the lore he's getting. Is a question from KK McLeod.
Guess it is kind of random because I didn't pick it.
Yes, and I didn't either, actually. Oy.
Yeah, KK McLeod to blame for this one.
So, Pete, when the Warriors of Light from the first...
Asians.
Yep, that's right.
Nailed it.
When the Warriors of Light from the first, also known as the Warriors of Darkness, traveled to the source, they did so with crystals of light. In order to do this,
They keistered him.
they had to die. Who killed them? A. Ardbert, B. Emmett Selk, C. Elidibus, D. the Shadow Keeper, also known as Scylla. Let me read the question again, because you obviously were making jokes and not listening.
No, I was listening. I have to go back to, this was like Heavensward shit, wasn't it? How did they die? Did Ardbert? Like, I feel like that'd be kind of cool if Ardbert killed them, but I feel like that'd be too cool for them to think of. Scylla.
You didn't do all of the quests, I don't think, in Shadowbringers.
I did all the quests. Well, I didn't do all the quests, but I did all of that. I did all the Warrior of Darkness quests.
No, the job quests at the bar, like were you at the Warriors of
Shadowbringers?
Yeah, in Shadowbringers. Then the Shadow Keeper was like an additional side quest that continued on all of that, and you got to learn about Scylla. And it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I didn't do any of that shit.
I know we're shocked.
So what are the things again? Ardbert,
Emmett Selk, C. Elidibus, D. the Shadow Keeper, or Scylla. It's Cyella, so I apologize if I'm totally mispronouncing her name. I don't remember how it was said, if we actually heard it in audio.
It's called Kyla.
Okay.
So it might be that one just because I don't fucking know it.
I'm just gonna give you. It's not that one because you don't know it. I'll give you that. I don't want you to pick the one you don't know.
I'm gonna go with Ardbert.
Why?
Because that'd be badass if he killed him to get him there.
You're right.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations, Pete.
You just gotta go with what's badass.
I believe actually KK had some additional notes, but he gave this to me a couple weeks ago. Where was it?
Now about the Keekern.
Wait. Says so Ardbert had to murder his comrades and then himself. This is why his axe is bloody and why it's clean upon the conclusion of 5.0.
Ah.
Like, it was a while ago that I read that. I was like trying to remember. I was like, wait, he had additional notes. I don't remember what they were.
Well, once again, I am 100%. Yeah.
Oh.
Just lost my outline.
Yeah, darn.
Avi, what happened today?
It was the live letter.
Do you know what live letter it was? Oh, damn it. I should have put the fucking Roman numeral and tried to make you guess.
That would have been an easy one.
That'd be like your lore. You don't know what fucking L is.
It's the 10th or the 60th. Not the 10th. I don't know why I said 10th. I know X is 10. In my head, I was thinking
What is
X.
L? What is L?
I don't know. 25?
You would not have got this right.
60th edition of live letter.
L is 50.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
It's just LX or XL? XL, because that was the football that was a big thing with the XL.
That's why, like, during...
I really don't care. What is this, like, literally, when do Roman numerals actually, like, help you in life other than knowing which, like, Final Fantasy it is?
Bitch, if you ever come across a sundial. I don't know. You think it's Roman numerals for a sundial?
You don't... Icarus just said, I need to make her super difficult question. You don't need to make it super difficult. You just need to make it something that people care about that isn't Pete. Hey. Oh, okay. So Icarus just said LX is 60, XL is 40. That's what it was. So I was right the first time. Makes sense because it's the higher number first and the lower number second. I did know that.
That's why during a Super Bowl 50, or they were like, should we just do like the like English 50 instead of the L because people are too dumb to know that L means 50.
That is true.
That's the only time you need Roman numerals to figure out what fucking Super Bowl it is.
For you. I should go, Pete, which one is it? Tell me. Thanks. Bye.
It's LXIV.
All right. So the 60th edition of the live letter was early this morning, and it was a preview for patch 5.35, which will be dropping on October 13th, which is less than a week away. It's like 4 days.
I have a question. Is English 50 correct, or should it be like Arabic? Is like our number system Arabic?
Our number is based off of Arabic numbers because like that was like where math originated. But no, they're different numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, they're similar but not the same.
The more you know.
That was probably one of your best like uses of a sound clip ever. All right, so what's going to be in the patch. This is 5.35 we're talking about. Basically, what are we going to be getting in 4 freaking days? All of us who are starved for content so badly that we're leveling our alts, and we may have started actually trying to level our trusts because we hate ourselves a little bit.
Bozjan.
That's right, it's the Bajan Southern Front, which is a new large-scale encounter where you can have up to 72 players where you'll assist the Bajan resistance with their mission to rout the 4th Imperial Legion. I didn't quite actually write that one. What do you mean by rout the Legion?
By fucking fight him.
By
boom.
R-O-U-T.
Punch him in the tenders. Knock him back.
I don't know what that word. I honestly had to go through and edit a lot of
You don't know what rout means?
That's not a word.
Rout is a fucking word.
R-O-U-T? Not R-O-U-T-E?
Yes, a rout is a fucking word.
I haven't been talking and now I don't trust it. Oh, it is. A disorderly retreat of defeated troops. Where did you learn that word?
Fucker, I watch sports. A team can rout another team.
It's a word that's used in sports. That's why I don't know it. I feel slightly better. Okay.
Or war. Or, I don't know, many different...
I know router. I don't know route. I've never heard... I don't really like war movies, and I don't really care about sports. So, fair. All right, whatever. Anyways, I learned the thing today. So you can either choose to focus on story quests or take on additional challenges. The choice is up to you. They really wanted to make sure that... the Bajan Resistance Southern Front, whatever, Bajan Front. I'm really curious to see if people are going to call it BSF or just Bajan Front or what the acronym is going to kind of become for this thing.
Hey, you guys want to do BJ?
No.
Bajan. Hell yeah.
No.
BJ's for all.
BZ, if anything.
Nah, BJ's.
No.
What you going to pick, Avi? Story quests or additional challenges?
I'm going to do both, to see how it kind of works out. If I'm in the mood to hang out with other people, I'll go and I'll do the challenges. If I just feel like doing some solo content, you do the story quests. So the Southern Front
BJs
is taking the place of the deep dungeon that we won't be getting. So you're going to be able to participate at level 71 and then use it to level all the way to level 80. Again, this isn't just for leveling. It's like a multifaceted sort of event instance that you're gonna be able to do a lot with.
They're like, people haven't exactly loved the content we're putting in the game that we've taken away dungeons for, so we need to make sure they can all do everything from Bajan Southern Front.
Yes, let's just make one thing and make it good and make it do all the things. That's kind of what this is. I really hope it comes out well. It feels like they tried to take the most popular elements of everything and make it this, but then also say, if you don't like this, you can also do that.
Because when you smash an apple pie into a pumpkin pie, you get the best pie you've ever had.
Oh, God, no. All right. Okay.
Aurora says, I'm going to start calling it the bougie resistance.
It's one of my favorite words. I actually was like, never mind. I'm going to go on a tangent again. All right, so in the instance of the Bajan Southern Front, I'm going to call it the bougie front. That's what I'm going to go with because I like bougie. I love that word. In the instance, you will do battle with the 4th Imperial Legion while you raise your metal. Metal being M-E-T-T-L-E, not like the hard substance.
Did you know the word
Pete's
metal?
Head. I did.
Okay.
Yes. With sufficient metal...
You can rout the enemy if you have enough metal.
You will raise your resistance rank in order to help the front line push forward in order to storm Castrum Lacus Litore. Was that Pete pasted that one?
It's about 2 inches above the asshole is the Litore.
Within this process, at a certain point, I just want to point out that you will need to speak with an NPC in order to continue ranking up. So make sure you keep an eye on that because you don't want to keep putting effort into that and then realize you missed out on metal. And also you can't earn metal by killing random mobs. So you're not just going to run around killing mobs. There's not going to be this train. Well, there might be a train. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be very specific. You'll be able to earn... Pete, you can show the image now. He already said, I put all this together and grabbed the images. And he says, if I forget, make sure you tell me. You'll be able to earn metal through skirmishes and critical engagements within the bougie front. So skirmishes are pretty much like fates. So
Bougie front, poker in the rear.
the bougie front. So skirmishes, like I said, where they're pretty much fates. So that's a very simple thing. Critical engagements, on the other hand, are going to need to be triggered. And once they are triggered, players will be able to opt in order to join that critical engagement. And critical engagements may only be for 24 people. So if there's more than 24 people who want to get in, then it's going to be a lottery in order to get into it. But there are things you can do and tokens you can obtain in order to like receive a higher priority than other people. Obviously, we're assuming it's going to be whatever sort of efforts are taken to make the critical engagement spawn. If you put effort into making it spawn, that's going to be like tokens or efforts involved in making this actually happen. So you're more likely to get to go into the event, which I think is fair. Like, people shouldn't just be able to like snape in.
Can we be honest about this for a second? Skirmishes are like fates.
Mm-hmm.
Critical engagements are like fates that you have to do something to spawn. Like,
So it's kind of like a hunt.
It's all just fucking fates.
But it's not a fate because it's then instanced in another area. So let me continue. Like, I put a lot of effort into
know, but it's like the two-part fates where you have to like do something to spawn the next part of the fate. It's just, but we're going to transport you to this new area.
But it's more like Baldessian Arsenal in that way. So once it spawns, they've created something called the Boja Finder, kind of like the Party Finder, which is how you're going to participate in the event. But it doesn't matter where you are on the map, so you can like participate even if you aren't close to it. And then they've designed critical engagements to feel more like a raid or an alliance battle. So, and then once you join, you're in there. Like, that's what you're doing. So it's not a fate, where a fate you could be like, fuck this is not working out for me. I'm just going to peace out.
I'm sure there's some way to fuck off.
No, they said, like, you will not be able to leave the arena.
Did they?
In the translation I read, yes, that's what they said. And again, because I didn't say it already, shout out to the FFIXV Reddit Discord for their translations. You guys are a godsend. I appreciate all of you.
Join the Discord.
So you will then automatically be transported
to the Discord's better than the Reddit.
To the battlefield. And there's actually going to be like a small amount of time for you to prepare with your party before the battle starts. So you can try to like very quickly, I'm sure a lot of people are going to make like chat macros and stuff to like put it up there and just, this is what we're doing. Go. But that's not even the exciting part about these critical engagements. It's not like everybody going in there and everybody participating.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, that's like the like Yoshi P thing. The better you perform in critical engagements, the greater your chances at being chosen for the 1v1 critical engagement.
Do you want to be the one that everyone's looking at, Avi? Would you want to be that one? The magical one?
I can't not try to be that one. Like, she
seriously cannot try to, like, not try.
Yeah,
like,
I can't not try to be that one.
Like, she joined the raid group. She's like, I've got to be the best dancer there's ever been.
It's like, God damn it, you can't beat me again. No, yeah, like,
She's like, fuck you, Paul, you bard. I'm going to out DPS your ass.
It was for me personally.
She's like, your ass is mine now,
like,
bitch.
beat you that time. Yeah, so anyways.
She'll let you know.
I'm slightly competitive. So by saying, like, am I gonna try to, like, is my goal to be the 1v1? I don't know, but I also, like, can't. If I'm chosen, I'm like, fuck yeah, and then I'm gonna die really quickly.
She doesn't want to admit it, but she wants to be the one.
I want to be the best. I also want to, like, beat it, but I'm not that good. I know they're not. But so there was actually, like, a quote from this that was translation, which is pretty darn cute. And it said, Yoshi P says, so when we play tested the 1v1, everyone watching was cheering outside the arena. And then the player lasted about 15 seconds.
Hey, nothing wrong about 15 seconds. Am I right, guys?
So yeah, I thought that was pretty amazing. But they said that if you compare it to something, it's probably similar to like instance battles during the MSQ, just way, 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 way harder. So you have to prove your worth at all times so you can participate. And that just watching someone try to be it is just as fun as being the one to do it. So it's really, really fun. You have to, and the one thing that Yoshi P kind of like ended with it is like, so you have to be chosen first. So in order to be chosen, you have to play a lot.
Yeah.
Clever.
So basically, if you have any anxiety about it, you're probably not going to get chosen for it.
I think it'd be even more like, fuck. That would be me. I would be cursing so.
See, I think it'd be fucking hilarious if it had nothing to do with like how much damage you
It was like a
contributed.
random person.
It was just like random, and you're like, fuck.
It would be really funny if it was random, like somebody who like dodged the most mechanics or something. There was a note we put. I don't know where it is. Oh, they mentioned that. So like for healers who get chosen and they're worried about not, being like doing as good DPS as like a melee or not having the strength or the goodness gracious, the armor of a tank. So they said that they implemented something similar to the logo system from Baldesion Arsenal. So for those of you who actually played that, which was not us.
Yeah, we didn't actually get to Baldesion Arsenal, but from what I understand is like, you have these Logos abilities that would like up your defense or offense or blah,
so
blah, blah.
It wasn't that we didn't want to do, like I actually really wanted to do Baldesion Arsenal, but my desire to play that didn't outweigh my desire to not play Eureka. So I just,
Yeah, the mount wasn't cool enough for me to grind through that.
Eureka. It was the Eureka, like, because they mentioned that, like, oh yeah, Baldesion Arsenal was hard. So later we'll talk about it. It wasn't the difficulty of that made me not do it. It was the grindiness of Eureka for just a mount that made me not do it.
Love that picture. Covering my beautiful afroed ass dancing.
You have an afroed ass?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Sticking out the subligar.
Oh, I don't want that visual. All right, Pete, what were you going to say other than that thing?
I don't know. What are we on? Are we under resistance gear?
No,
preview?
we were still kind of talking about that. So how do you feel about that? What do you think? Like,
I think it's cool. I jest that like it's all just fates, but there's a way to make fates engaging. Like if you can make it actually feel like you are pushing the enemy back.
I was thinking it had like a PvP vibe to it that you would really dig.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if they can get that feeling, but my problem is like, okay, I can get that feeling one time, but am I gonna go in there and do the same thing over and over again every time I go in?
Probably.
Then that.
So it's a short-term thing for you.
It loses a little something every time I go in.
So I feel like it's gonna be like a fun while it's new. Good way to level after.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a grindy relic thing, which I think is fair because it's kind of how it's designed to be.
Yeah, it's kind of what the Palace of the Dead is, or Deep Dungeon.
It's a combo of the Deep Dungeon. One thing I liked about it that I'd read in kind of in the Reddit Discord was that essentially the Boja Front is considered casual content, but they've added higher difficulty elements like these critical engagements. So if you choose not to participate in them, that's totally fine. You can keep the entire experience very casual for you, but if you also want it to be more difficult, then you can choose to try to spawn those events and try to take part in them, because if you want the higher priority, you need to be part of actually making them spawn.
Yeah, if you want the priority, cool. If you want to be like guaranteed a place in,
you have to put effort into it.
But if there's that many people that want to be guaranteed in, and there's 72 people in there, and it's a 25-player instance, you still might get fucked by the lottery.
Oh, Chili just said you can buy the pop items to get into the events. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I really don't like that. I hope that goes away very quickly. If that's
I'm going to buy my way in.
You've got all the... Yeah, because you have the large house and freaking gill up the butt. Hey. Or the keister. I'm sorry, that was the word of the night, right? Keister
it. But no, I'm like... pretty interested in the 1v1 element of it, but if people are dying in 15 seconds, like, are you just bad at your job that you died in 15 seconds, or like,
is it that hard?
Yeah, like what's going on?
I mean, I think one of the tricky things about it is, so what's going to happen is the first few people to get in, we don't know. I don't think it's that they hit hard. I think it's that they throw a lot of mechanics at you, and so you're not going to get a lot of opportunities to learn the mechanics of the fight. But once we have somebody who's gone through and they've been able to beat it and they like make a guide for it, it'll be much more likely that people beat it because they'll study that and they'll know what to expect. The thing that's kind of cool about this is you don't get to practice. You don't get to die and try again and try again and try again. We don't have any content like that really in the game.
That'd be fucking awful if you were watching someone horrible at their job. They fucking die over and over again.
Yeah, like it's one time, so it's you're not stuck watching somebody try to beat it. So
yeah, but like that when you get it, like if you're the first person to get this and you fucking get wrecked in 10 seconds,
you're gonna get wrecked in 10 seconds.
And then like everyone's just like you fucking horrible person.
No, I feel like it's gonna be like, oh my god, That was a lot of shit. I'd have died too. Sucks to be you.
I would be like, look at that asshole. Fucking bad at his job.
All right, Pete, we got a lot to go through.
Do we?
We do.
Do we?
You wanted to talk about the next one, and there's an image for it.
Resistance gear preview.
I only did one image. We had quite a few, but this was...
I'm interested in what you liked about this picture, Avi.
So that you can't just... This is a podcast. This is an audio medium, so...
That's why I asked you to explain it.
This picture. So the picture is of, it's actually a female Viera in the resistance gear set, which they described as having a resistance feeling, and they wanted it to be a bit rough and used and have kind of like a lived-in wear to it, which they'd come into. They haven't really gotten to design gear that had that kind of feel to it. Chili saying I just liked it because it's Viera. I actually liked this one. It was a Viera in it, but I like that she had short sleeves. You don't see a lot of short sleeve outfits for especially armor. And I liked the feel of the gear. I really did. I like that it feels like something you would fight in. Like, yeah, it's got shorter sleeves, but there's like armor in this. There's chainmail, but it's not like super drapey and over the top. It just felt like real armor that if I lived in this world, I'd be like, that's what I'm going to fight in.
My favorite part about this picture is fucking Yoshida's expression.
Oh.
He looks fucking like... He looks kind of mad about this for some reason.
I feel like he just looks like he's looking to the camera and showing the picture.
He's got a very stern look to himself. He's like, if any of you motherfuckers
Pete,
say anything bad about this piece of armor that I'm holding up right now.
You didn't see like the series of photos.
I will end you.
I disagree with you entirely.
That is exactly how he looks right now.
I don't agree.
He's got that little bit of a beard right below his bottom lip. That's the only part of the beard he has on. He's like a fucking evil villain.
He's not even looking at the camera. He's looking at the person above the camera to make sure, like, is it in the shot?
He's like, you fucking get this picture.
Oh,
if
God.
you miss this picture that I'm holding up, you're fucking fired.
That I believe more than the other, because he's not looking at the camera. So this isn't about us. This is about whoever's like shooting this.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the fucking producer of Final Fantasy 16. You fucking peon, get this fucking picture in the fucking shot.
Okay, so
that's what I have to say about this piece of armor.
I can tell you care so much.
Yeah, I don't care about armor. We should know this by now.
Yeah, we know. And of course, there are going to be new mounts and minions. Just no preview. And Icarus says I need to talk about the fact that there are goggles because goggles. So goggles.
Googles? Do we like
Googles? I'm sorry, you did write Googles, didn't you? All right.
Right
so
above the head.
Pete, do you want to read the next segment? I feel like I'm wrangling cats again. Like you haven't even had a lot of alcohol. Why are you
wrangling cat?
Yeah.
Wrangling? Resistance weapon upgrades. Once players enter the Boston Southern Front, they will be able to pick up a quest and start gathering the necessary items to augment their resistance weapons. A next feature is that the items needed for augmenting your resistance weapon will be found both inside and outside of the Boston Southern Front. And I think that's what all of us Eureka haters were looking for. We were looking for some way that we didn't have to go into Boston Southern Front in case it sucks.
Yeah, we want another option. That's honestly, Eureka would have been fine if there had been another option. Even if it's extra, I'm sure the other option will be like extra grindy, but just give me another option.
Yeah. They tease that it could be light farming or poetics, but I feel like that's kind of in jest. Hopefully it's something a little more interesting than that.
What's with your silent burps tonight?
Dude, you just said they're silent burps. No one could hear him, but you gotta call it out.
Everyone hears I'm talking to you guys right now.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta take a breath.
Okay.
So yeah, it's probably gonna be something on the lines of light farm.
Probably, yeah.
So essentially, if you plan on playing the Boston Southern Front, you may as well level your weapon at the same time.
Yep.
Also, gear is going to scale down to eye level 430, so you won't have to worry about leaving to upgrade your gear. You're pretty much out-leveled this anyways if you're at max rank right now anyways.
Right, which is kind of great because it's really frustrating if you're leveling someplace like just a normal roulettes and then you realize you haven't upgraded your gear. And so this was kind of one of those elements that kind of keeps it in line with the deep dungeons. So I actually thought that was a really clever feature.
Just for your reference, KK McLeod didn't know it's me, Silent Bourbon.
We appreciate the call out. Sorry, Pete. I'm horrible. All right.
I've been telling people that for how long have we doing this?
Oh, you're making my first episode back like super fun.
How many episodes have we done? 237?
Mm-hmm.
We almost have. I mean,
don't math now.
We're 2/3 of a way to a year of podcasting.
We're on page 4 of 13, and we're an hour into this episode. I'm trying to get you to go through it a little faster.
There's a lot of pictures coming up.
No, there's really not. There's really not. This took a long time. So
this episode is titled Live Letter 60 Part 1.
So there are new housing wards that are going to be added, and Yoshida even commented that I love
podcasting with you so much.
People already practice the fastest way to get to their dream plot, and we actually had people in our Discord channel talking about the fact that they routed out multiple routes and they're practicing them for the plots that they want in case other ones go for
People
sale.
asked me that during one of my streams. I was like, okay, you need to log out in the zone closest to your housing thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out exactly which aetheryte you need to teleport to. Then you have to do a little test. Is it faster to sprint to the plot you want, or is it faster to bring out the chocobo to get to the plot you want? There's a lot that goes into this.
Yep.
And 100% you need to practice it. And so people will practice the quickest way to get there. But what people also need to practice is clicking through the menu, which can be hard to practice. So you have to go to a YouTube video that shows you the different options of buying a house, and you have to know exactly what you want to click on. And I think that is what makes the difference, because someone was at that fucking placard when I got my large house, and I fucking got that large house because they were fucking dilly-dallying through the fucking menus, and I got that shit because I'm better than them.
Okay, moving on. So they will be adding new housing wards to every housing area, and this was kind of a big thing right here. Since there is most likely going to be a race for all of these new plots, they will not, all caps, not be opening the servers before the scheduled time, which they usually do, even if the maintenance finishes early.
Yeah, we know that for every housing update.
So it's gonna be tight, guys. All right.
You're gonna leave me with it's gonna be tight, guys?
I love that you are having so much fun with this podcast, Pete. That's awesome. That's super great.
So that was like the beginning of the live letter. They like told us that stuff that we kind of already knew. Already had kind of talked about it before, but we're getting the preview of patch 5.4. This is the part 1 preview of patch 5.4. The title is Futures Rewritten. Oh no, I said that wrong. Rewritten. Written.
It's okay. Yoshi P actually had difficulty saying that word too, Pete. It's like you guys are long lost brothers.
But he had to say it in Japanese, which is much harder than English.
There's also an image related to this one.
This is patch 5.4, which will be releasing in early December.
And Yoshi did say that they are on pace for that particular release date, which is great. Hopefully they're able to finish it before their holidays and are able to take a break afterwards.
And a big shocker, Avi. We're getting more MSQ.
Oh, no.
They just had one screenshot to give us. It's in Ishgard with Emeric, Lucia, and what I think is a Gundu. I don't remember what they were called.
Oh, I didn't look that up.
The
to
bird
verify.
people from Sea of Clouds.
But this is the red one. So there was the blue ones and there was the red ones. I should have looked up them.
He's a red bird, a robin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we can gather from this. All that we can gather from this,
Vanu. Thank you, Spoogatron.
Vanu.
It's Vanu.
All we can gather from this is like, Ishgard's the fucking place to be, dude. They got fucking humans. They got fucking dragons. They got fucking Vanu.
They got
fucking Gundu. Gundu's a tribe. Oh, is that the beast tribe we had? Is that why I know Gundu? That was the fucking beast tribe of the Vanu.
Don't know. There's another image for the next segment.
Oh yeah, there is. It's the new dungeon, Avi. This one is called Matoya's Relict. I don't know what relict means, but Yoshida is messing with us when he's saying Matoya, because now we have two Matoyas. Is it the original Matoya, the old bitch, or is it the new bitch, Y'shtola, who goes by Matoya on the first? What do you think, Avi? What's it going to be about?
Or both. For the story, it makes sense that it's about Y'shtola because we haven't had any, like, well, no, actually, it's probably the original Matoya's
Yeah,
space.
I was thinking the original
I forgot.
Matoya.
I just thought back. I was like, no, wait, we just left. So it's the original Matoya. And they actually have an image, which is a wonderful artist rendering of the space, which looks like a cavern, with like the stalactites and stalagmites, and there's like books everywhere, and there's like a metal indoor fireplace that also like the
kind of looks like a pumpkin with a witch hat on.
Yeah, the indoor chute very much so looks like a witch's hat. I wouldn't have said pumpkin. I just like a head, essentially, with fire.
Oh, look at that pumpkin.
Okay. I really think it's a beautiful aesthetic that they've gone with. I can't wait to see what the gear looks like to go with it.
And it's like a library as well. There's like staircases of books. It's really cool. It's very whimsical, as Avi would say.
Yes.
And we also have a new Sorrow of Wurlit quest.
I know we just left the first. My brain didn't quite catch up until I'm trying to not be annoyed with Pete right now, you guys, okay? What? So give me some credit here.
What?
I'm really trying super hard.
Why would anyone ever be annoyed with me?
Have you heard you?
Sound delicious.
Okay. Next image, Pete, we have a new Sorrow of Wurlit quest. We'll be taking the battle to the Emerald Weapon, which will be an 8-man trial, which we both have normal and extreme difficulties in. And this will also conclude the Sorrow of Wurlit storyline. You will need to have completed the 5.3 MSQ in order to challenge this. So make sure you get that taken care of if you have not yet.
And Yoshida made a point to say, like, pay attention. We're saying 5.3, not 5.4. Like, don't get freaked out if you haven't done 5.4. You can do this before you do the MSQ.
It's not the new stuff they're talking about. Yeah. This is the old stuff you have to do. We are going to be getting...
This picture doesn't really give us much, does it? Like, it's just a little... It's like two people talking to... It's some of Gaius's kids talking to each other. I assume that's the Emerald Weapon in the background.
It's a very sepia sort of colored image, and we can't really gather much from it.
Yeah, so great picture, Square Enix.
We will be getting a new raid dungeon as well with Eden's Promise, normal and savage difficulties. You'll need to complete the MSQ again from patch 5.3, and this is going to conclude the storyline. It's going to obviously focus primarily on Reen and Gaia, and the story will also tie into the MSQ, the new one, a rewritten future. Or no, that's the MSQ it's just related to. For some reason, I was combining the names when I wrote those. Anyways, I
have no idea what's going on now.
That's okay. Pete, there's going to be some job adjustments.
Yes. So one of my mains has been... wait, Icarus is saying, wait, is this the concluding of the Wurlit stuff? Apparently.
Yes.
It's going to be...
Concluding of Wurlit and concluding of Eden.
All wrapped up in 5.4 instead of 5.5. I kind of thought they were going to expand it to 5.5 because why not? But I guess they just had... I don't know. I guess they didn't have as much as they thought they had.
I'm assuming they had a plan and they were... I don't know what's going on with it.
I don't know if something got cut, but like the last one was just like a solo instance and now they're just ending it. It kind of feels like it's not as much as...
Maybe it's going to tie into the MSQ after this somehow, and the side quests are going to, like in the fourth one, will be part of the main story. You don't know. It could be something totally different.
Hey, thank you, Davin Belf. 11, thank you for that Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get Diamond in the MSQ, if it somehow ties in with what we're... I feel like it's gonna be kind of like a segue. personally.
Let's put the little disclaimer as well. As Avi mentioned at the beginning, this is a translation.
Yes.
So it might not be 100% accurate. There could be something that was missed in the translation.
Or we could have something that just happens that we don't actually fight, and the story explains why. And again, but yeah, we don't know. We're just giving you the translation from what we got. So if you want to dive deeper into this, Icarus, you are more than welcome to. And
if
get back
anyone
to us.
would like to buy me Rosetta Stone, maybe I will learn Japanese.
Oh, so Esper, thank you, says that Yoshi has gone on the record to state that the big bad behind the Wurlit storyline will be seen later on as well. So that does kind of go in line with what I was saying, where it's probably going to tie into the MSQ. I feel like they didn't want this entire Wurlit Sorrow story to be MSQ. It was kind of a lot going on, but it at least made it so it'll be a more impactful enemy when it's within the MSQ, but it's also not required to understand why it's there.
Gonna stretch it out to 6.4.
It's such a supplemental, essentially. So for the job adjustments, Pete, there are going to be PvE and PvP job adjustments, but the details will be coming in the part 2 preview is what they said. So for now, it's just kind of like a vague overview. Yeah,
so they did go on to mention a little bit about the Monk rework. They wanted it to still feel busy, but wanted it to be easier to manage Grease Lightning. And I kind of feel like you can't have both of those things. Because Monk doesn't really feel busy unless you have to keep Grease Lightning up.
I have no idea. I've never played Monk.
So yeah, that's the whole thing of keeping Grease Lightning up and keeping your rotation going. I think they have like the last change they made where you could refresh Grease Lightning by pressing Form Shift once instead of having to press it like 3 times. I thought that was a really great solution. I thought Monk played really fucking well now. You still had to pay a little bit of attention. Sure, there were still some fights where it would drop because there's just such a long cutscene in between that it would drop. But I thought Monk was pretty good how it is now. Now if they make it so Grease Lightning 3 is always up because of a trait, which is what they said, I think they're going to lower the potency on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be getting like a kind of nerf.
It'll end up evening out most likely. It sounds like kind of a scholar
but I
treatment.
think it's going to be really fucking boring to play. And this is one of those things where they're trying to make it less of a gap between the average and the best. They're trying to just try to make everyone good at it. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think is a really great thing.
What I was trying to say is they kind of made it like with Scholar where you had your Aether Current and you used to be able to use that. Like you always wanted to keep it moving and used it outside of combat. And now it's only available within combat. So it's one of those things that always feels kind of stunted compared to how it used to be. And it's probably going to be something that kind of makes the job feel that kind of like disconnect.
Well, if it's a trait, it's just like always going to be up.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm just saying because of that, there's going to feel like there's a disconnect.
Yeah. And it's not going to feel as busy because that was the whole point of Monk. Like you're always trying to keep Grease Lightning up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Esper says it sounds like they're trying to give it the ninja fixes and now ninja's a lot more fun. So maybe give it a chance.
I guess I'll give it a chance, but like, yeah, I don't doubt it's going to be easier to play, but is that what people wanted? Easier?
I do like that. I like them keeping like Summoner is your super busy, got a lot going on caster, Black Mage is a certain style, Red Mage is a certain style. I feel like I like them having one job that might be a little more difficult to play, and it might not even be the best DPS to be the most difficult to play. It's just that's the way it plays because some people prefer that.
Because it's more fun.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure it's more fun for some people. But
look, I'm still probably a better paladin than I am a gunbreaker, but I like all the buttons that gunbreaker has to press.
But they are the ones who are seeing the numbers, and they see how many people do or don't play Monk, and so they want to try to raise those numbers most likely. And by doing this, maybe they'll make it a more popular class to play.
Maybe not give us like weapons that look like we're gonna break our wrists if we hit anything with it.
Okay, and moving on, blue mages are going to be getting their cap raised to level 70, and they're going to be getting exclusive gear that they will preview during the next live letter. It's supposedly getting a super big update. There's going to be a lot coming the next slide.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have leveled their blue mages are excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't leveled it, and I'm pretty sure you haven't leveled your blue mage as well.
Mm-mm.
I think we tried doing that like as soon as the blue mage was introduced, and we were like, I don't care.
I mean, but some people really love it, so I think it's great that they are increasing the level to 70. I mean, it was expected in my opinion, so it's not something that I have a negative or positive feeling toward. It was I expected them to do that, so cool. Again, they have the numbers, they know how many people are playing it and enjoying it and all the things.
Demakase, thank you so much for that 4 months of subbing. Appreciate it
very much.
Chili Pepper says, did you mention that we will be fighting Beastmasters in Boja? I don't know what a fucking Beastmaster is.
It's a job from a previous Final Fantasy. Chili, that wasn't actually in the translation that I saw of the live letter, so I didn't mention that because I'm basically we're trying to get out all the information that was shared via the live letter, and Pete's definitely making it an effort tonight.
As everything, Avi's trying to blame it on me.
Okay. So something else new that they recently...
I'm really glad you're about to say this word instead of me.
I didn't actually give this a nice setup for this. The new thing we're going to talk about is the Dilubrum Reginee, I'm guessing. So even though we're just now getting the next step of the resistance weapon, we're also getting the preview for the next step after that, which is the Dilubrum Reginee. This will be kind of like Baldessian Arsenal. However, unlike Baldessian Arsenal, there will be 2 difficulties, normal and savage. And this is because they've really listened to the player base. They described the Bojang Southern Front as a field instance, but that Dilubrum Reginee will be a new sort of system.
You just fart?
Where there are 2 modes. There's normal mode, where there will be 24 players, where there are no role requirements for the matching. And there will also be savage mode, where there are 48 players, and the players must pre-form their parties before entering. So again, it's designed to be very similar to Baldessian Arsenal from the 4.x series. And a lot of the feedback they received that it was a lot of fun, but too difficult for some players, which is why they've created the 2 different tiers for the new DR.
And let's be perfectly honest with this, neither of us got to Baldessian Arsenal, so we don't know really how the logo system worked for that. We don't know how it's going to work for this, so we both want to get to Baldessian Arsenal. It's the whole leveling process to get there.
And the difficulty to get into this. I think the entire system... So I personally feel the issue wasn't Baldessian Arsenal itself. It was making it spawn. It was becoming part of the group. It was people like... It was the system behind it, not the actual instance itself.
Yeah, so we don't really know if they really needed to break this into normal and savage and just make the path to get there a little bit easier.
But considering they're keeping the Bojang Southern Front more casual, this kind of plays along with that, with them wanting to have the next step be something where there's a casual side and then there's a more difficult side. So it kind of goes aligned with everything that they've said.
And for crafters and gatherers, lesser used actions will be adjusted. New crafting conditions will be added for expert recipes. Will not apply to recipes prior to 5.4. So expert recipes have a couple extra conditions that normal recipes don't. This is really only going to affect you if you're trying to get onto the Sky Builder rankings in 5.4.
Yeah, it's gonna be only the newest recipes are going to have these crafting conditions, kind of like fishing where there were weather conditions, I'm assuming.
I mean, it's just we have different conditions in expert crafting now than we do for regular crafting. We have pliant, we have centered. So apparently they're adding even more. So maybe it's just going to make you have to pay even more attention to it.
I remember you were not a fan. There's a lot of desk banging.
No, I'm actually a big fan of the system. I am not a fan at all of the way they implemented the contest.
Got it. That's fair. We actually are going to get to that in a minute. So
we're not going to even get to the rant I have about that.
No, but we are going to talk about that. So as I was trying to stop you on the rant, because we are going to talk about it in a bit. So there is an image for this next section, and actually there are 2 images. So why don't you pull up the first one? And this is updates in regards to gatherers. So the collectible and ethereal reduction system have been completely revamped. And in fact, you guys, the collectible glove action will be removed. So you won't even have to worry about making sure you have your collectible glove like activated, which is really cool.
No glove, no love.
Yeah. So then you will also item wear is also going to be removed, which is kind of nice because I felt like it was annoying to have to pay attention to the like wearability of your gatherer's gear because you were literally just wearing it. Which puts a focus on gathering attempts and collectability rating. And gathering and perception ratings will have a greater effect on your collectability. And adjustments are going to be made to items obtained from ethereal reduction based on their collectability. So it's all like, it's much more stat based now than it is just the fact that you've equipped your collectible glove, basically.
Yeah, I feel like this is, from what I can gather from this translation anyways, they're making it a little less accessible to the average gatherer. It's going to be more geared towards the people who have maxed out the stats on their gear.
To get the best stuff, you have the best gear. Which is I kind of don't hate that on this. Like, as long as I can get decent stuff with my decent gear, I'm okay with that. But to get the best stuff, you need the best gear. Okay, that's fine.
So it's gonna be to be concluded. We don't know until we actually try this out and see what stats you need, like how much melds you need to have on your gear.
And the issue with this is that collectability was kind of one of the few things where your gear didn't really affect it. Like, you could kind of get away and still get the max collectability. And so this is their way of addressing that and making it so that's not an issue. So if you can and you've been working on your collectibles, maybe finish those now before this comes into play, so you can try to get as much as you can.
And for the UI, it looks like you're no longer going to be clicking stuff on your hotbar. You're kind of going to be clicking stuff on a menu that pops up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a lot of the same abilities you do use, but I don't know. All right, Pete, will you add
There's also a new one as well, which I don't really know. It kind of looks like a sunburst thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, those I'm not even questioning yet.
Yeah, we'll get to those when we get them.
When they're in English. Will you open the next image? So one thing that is actually kind of a small but big deal is that they're finally adding elevation markers on your mini map to the gathering points. That was always really annoying to me that you couldn't tell if you were above or below it.
For me, I can think of two, but other than that, I'm like, eh.
Well, you've been doing it long enough. If you haven't been doing it very long and you're trying to find one, I'm like, I'm gonna guess that this is here. So, yeah.
Like, I found it helpful when they did it for quests, but I feel like on gathering, there's not that many where there's a difference in elevation that matters.
I thought it was a good idea, personally.
Hey, I mean, it doesn't hurt by any means.
So there's so we're done with that image. Fisher update. Fish eyes will no longer be required in order for you to catch fish. And it will also allow players to ignore the time requirement for catching fish. Thing is like, this could technically be kind of controversial because this might make big fish fishing too easy. So they're being very cautious with this change, and they're going to keep an eye on it. They actually commented that we know players have been fighting with the nature in Eorzea to become a master caster. So we don't want to take away from them, but we also want to get more players into fishing. So take from that what you will.
Okay, you know how to get more players into fishing, Avi? Fucking make a title instead of Master Caster or Master Baiter. Because 100%, if you add a title that is Master Baiter, people will get into fishing just for that fucking title.
That's not a lie. That's not a lie. But
that's how you get people into fishing, baby.
But I have to agree with this. Like, I've as much as I was not a crafter, I always leveled my gatherers, like my miner, my botanist. Not that I necessarily enjoyed them, but I enjoyed what I got from it. And it was fun to go out and kind of explore, and you could get the treasure maps. But fishing for me was just not something that like had that same kind of enjoyment. In fact, all my crafters are leveled to 80, and all of my gatherers but Fisher are as well. Because it's just, there's so many weird quest things you have to make sure you do, and like you have to make sure to unlock spearfishing, and it's not very intuitive with the Fisher because of all of that, and I haven't really loved it.
Tell you what, if Restoration of Ishgard gave me the title Master Baiter, I'd 100% be like, worth it. But fucking Saint of Ishgard or Saint of Restoration, whatever it's fucking called, not worth it.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. They're never gonna do it. but it's really funny.
Prove her wrong, Square Enix.
It's really funny. I wouldn't do it for that, but I know a lot of people would do it for that title.
Hell yeah, everyone would be Fishers.
That would be the only title you would ever have equipped again.
Hell yeah. I have Assimilator just because it has ass in the name.
Yep. We know.
Because I'm a genius.
You're so smart.
Restoration of Ishgard
Your
is
favorite.
returning.
You are a saint.
With 5.41. They will bring the final updates for Ishgard Restoration. The final and fourth phase will begin and complete. Completion will be commemorated with the construction of a monument. The monument will be based on the crafting class with the greatest contributions during a certain period. Is that not like something they should have said at the fucking beginning?
I maybe, yeah. Like, well, maybe it's only going to count in this last section because they're saying it now. So it's only in the final phase is the only time it's really going to matter. Why? Do you have like a real opinion on that?
Yes, I have real opinions on
Which
this.
one do you want it to be?
My opinion is it going to be server specific? So if more like blacksmiths turned it in on Gilgamesh, but more weavers turned it in on Adamantoys, is it going to like reflect that on each server? That was actually my interpretation. Then it forces you to go visit. Can I go to Adamantoys and fuck up their shit?
What?
Turn in a whole bunch of stuff on blacksmith
when can't turn in on another server, can you?
That's what turned me off of Restoration to Ishgard in the beginning, because you could go server to server and turn shit in on that server and make that server go faster than the other ones.
Oh, you can do that. I thought you couldn't.
Because I wanted it to be a fucking race. I don't know if they fucking changed that because they fucked it up in the beginning and I fucking tuned out. I didn't give a fuck.
Got it. It's been a very not cursive, but cursing.
Oh, I do. I learned how to write cursive in elementary school.
No, there's been a lot of cursing. Oh, you can't anymore. Thank you, Aurori.
Can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore. So it is the competition you always dreamed it would be.
Except they fucked it up, so I don't care anymore.
But they changed it now, so I think it's going to be the final phase. And I actually thought this was kind of a cool concept because then it actually encourages you to go and visit the other servers so you can see which one won on their server if you want to see all the different statues.
What do you think they're going to be? I feel like it's going to be blacksmith and weaver. You sounded
like you cared, and then now you're like, I don't care, I'm just grumpy. So
I was kind of curious if people could fuck up other servers. But now I don't care.
I personally, I don't know why, but my favorite crafter to use is my goldsmith. I don't know why. I have no logical reason for it, like that other than I like the animations and the sound effects that go along with it.
When I was kind of checking out the scores for the Restoration of Ishgard on the other servers, it seemed like Alchemist was kind of very high up. And I think that's just because a lot of people use Alchemist to sell the tinctures and stuff like that. So a lot of them already have that as a specialist.
That's fair. I don't have any specialists yet. Not there.
I think I kind of got lucky. I looked it up. I think I only would have got the top 12 like I did in 5 out of the 8 crafting classes.
That's still the majority, hun.
Still, but I mean, there's 3 that I wouldn't have gotten in, and it was just fucking pure luck. That's the only one I decided to do it in.
So which was the most popular?
I don't remember. I think like Weaver or Alchemist.
Okay.
But it was different on like every server, so there's validity to this. Of every server is going to have a different monument, maybe.
So Chili's a big fan of Culinarian. I have to say, Chili, the thing I don't like about Culinarian is that my character sticks her finger in the pan and tastes it after every single adjustment she does, and that really bothers me as like someone who owned a bakery, because 1, you wouldn't taste it after every adjustment you made, and 2, you would not use your finger. So like I don't like using Culinarian because of the fact that she's like, let me stick my hand in the pan and taste it. I'm like, bitch, don't do that.
Get a spoon.
Get a spoon. It actually bothers me. So I don't play my Culinarian because I'm doing like Beast Tribe stuff and I've got them all to 80. So I like actively don't choose Culinarian because that like bothers me in a weird way. So yeah. Anyways,
and it's kind of ridiculous going from server to server. Because, like, I watched Mione video because he got top 12 as well. I think we both got the same place, like either 10th or 11th. But I had, like, 40% more points than him.
But
And I'm
yeah,
like, you
EU.
son of a bitch.
Yeah, EU.
I'm like, I
versus-
love Ioni, but it's like, I had to do so many more on my server.
I do think so. This is the final competition that's going to be happening. So it's new
God,
rankings,
it's
same
so
titles,
fucking
new
bad.
achievement.
I have a video to do on this. I'm not going to get to it on this one, even though I had it planned.
I'm just really curious how intense it's going to be.
Oh, it's not going to be intense. It's going to be a video that absolutely
No. I'm not talking about your video. I'm talking about the competition.
No, but I'm talking about my video. No one's going to watch it. It's going to be fucking all about stats. Related to sports, so no one's going to watch it.
Oh, no, yeah.
But yeah, just stay tuned.
Okay, I won't. Sports and crafting, I'm good. But no, this is your last chance to become the saint of crafting.
In a nutshell, though, my point is, the feast tells you who might be the best players at the feast are.
Uh-huh.
The world first in rating tells you who are the best raiders. The Saint of Ishgard doesn't tell you who the fucking best crafter is. It just tells you who fucking got on, who fucking crafted the longest. Doesn't tell you who the fucking best crafter is. And that's the competition that I want. And maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe they didn't want to say who the best fucking crafter is. But if that was the case, they should have extended it to whoever turned in the most fucking items by the time the fucking restoration of Ishgard got done.
I love how salty you are, and you're one of the people who won.
Because I don't give a shit. So fucking title is bullshit. Doesn't mean I was the best. I wouldn't have turned in another goddamn item if it wasn't to get you a mount.
What? Well, don't even oh, you mean afterwards? Like,
yeah.
Afterwards. Okay, yeah. Like, that was very sweet, and I appreciate
like afterwards, that. I wouldn't have turned in another item. I did crafting to get you a mount.
Yeah, he like had a bunch of extra turn-in items. I can't remember what they're called right now. And he was like very close, so I bought him all the items and he just used a macro while he was working and let his crafter go.
Yeah, when you're doing like the tier 2 one instead of the hardest one, you can just macro
so then
that
he got me my gorilla mount, which was super worth it because it's amazing.
I was like, I will fucking macro this shit. I'm not gonna fucking actively craft for this.
But you guys, I have to say, Pete doing the Ishgard restoration and trying to get the title.
It's the single worst thing I have ever done in this game.
I wanted him to quit. I was hoping he would quit.
Because it takes too fucking long.
If you haven't noticed,
and
he's
animated.
Don't.
I fucking keep track of like stats in my head, and if I go through too many bad fucking shits, I fucking lose it.
And so it was a very like tense household.
It's a good thing we upgraded to real wooden desks, or I would have karate chopped that fucking IKEA shit in half.
Sure, babe. But yeah, it was just a very tense household. It was this Pete for like 2 weeks, however long it went. I don't remember was it 2 weeks?
10 days.
10 days. Okay. I
felt like a month to both of us.
Yeah, during 2020, it was like compounded.
This is worse than Corona.
No, it's not. So yeah, that was if you love your partner, don't do it. Don't try to get that title for Ishgard restoration. It's not worth it. Just spend your time with them.
You want to get top 100, no problem at all. You can do that shit in like a day.
Right.
Don't try to get top 12. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, just don't, please. Please don't. They need the system to be something that's not just, look, I played the most. That's it. It needs to not be I played the most. But the sad thing is that, look, I played the most is kind of the basis for a lot of MMOs in general.
Yeah, but that's stupid.
It's about your
like,
time.
What other thing in life is I did the most?
It doesn't matter. That's MMO. This is MMO.
Like a marathon is like, okay, we have to do a lot of it, but who gets there soonest? Who gets there the quickest?
Right.
Like there's some sort of fucking skill to it.
But the shitty thing is that this is MMO. Like it is that thing. So by them taking that,
can we not fucking evolve it so it's not just poop sock and shit?
It's the dopamine hit of getting the thing. Thank you, Aurora.
Oh, you think I had any fucking dopamine at getting this title?
Probably a bit.
No.
There's a moment, little bit.
Like I would have got more dopamine. Like I was expecting myself to get fucking snipered at the end.
Aurora. Aurora says the entire premise all MMOs are built on is how long can I keep you playing?
I was expecting to get sniped, and at least if I would get sniped at the end and someone yanked that 11th place from me, put me into 13th, I would have been like, at least I was right.
I would have had to leave the house for like 3 days if that
No, I
happened.
wouldn't have cared. Like, I would not have cared if I got bumped down to 13th.
I don't believe you.
100%.
It was a very emotional
Didn't
10
give
days.
a
Like,
shit.
even KK's
No,
like,
I
peak
get
feeds
mad,
on rage.
I get mad at fucking unbelievable streaks that should happen 1 out of every 500 times, and I got 3 in a fucking row. And that's when I would rage. 100%.
Okay.
And I fucking did ticks. I have a sheet right over there of all the failures I had.
That was because I told you to start keeping track of it.
And it fucking enraged me, and it took way too long to make that fucking sheet.
And you got mad at me because I suggested you actually keep track of the math.
Yeah.
The math
And
that
I'm
was
like,
pissing you
look
off.
how fucking horrible that was.
And all I could think was, you're doing it to yourself. You're choosing to do this to yourself.
I hated myself every fucking second of it. Stupidest thing I've ever done. 100%. I'm an idiot. Why did I do it? I got a fucking title that says Saint of Ishgard. The fuck am I gonna do with that? 100%. Dumbest thing I've ever done.
This is a little bit validating.
I mean, I've told you that. You didn't believe me, but now I'm fucking telling everyone. Stupidest thing I've ever done.
Because you can say it while you're in the middle of it, but you keep doing it. So then it's like you say that it's the stupidest thing you've ever done, but you keep doing it. And for me, logically, that doesn't make sense because I'm just not that person.
Because I'm fucking stupid.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
I'm like, I put 20 hours into it. I might as well fucking do it because I'm an idiot. I'm like, I hated this. Let's do it more. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. So yeah, this is a little insight of the Yes, KK, I actually said that to him. I said, what's the definition of insanity?
And I said, shut the fuck up.
He did.
Fucking, I know. You don't need to tell me stuff I know.
I actually think I think I didn't log into the game for those 10 days.
Because I got fucking lit, dude.
I would try to like play and be next to him. I'd be like, no, I'm gonna go watch.
Because I'm like,
TV.
let me tell you how horrible this fucking streak was. Fucking failed 9 times in a row on a 60% success. And with a couple 75% success mixed in there.
I don't need
just for fucking fun.
I don't need to hear it anymore. I've heard it. It's okay.
Fucking worst part of the fucking game I've ever had.
So yeah, we're talking about like this is coming up again. So
don't do it. You'll hate yourself.
I'm gonna tell you guys, like, it's gonna be harder than it was.
And if you got like a good feeling in your tummy about this, that you got top 12, why? Because you spent so much time on it?
No, I'm not gonna shame anyone for feeling good for accomplishing something.
I'm gonna shame you.
I'm not gonna shame anybody. But he's so you guys don't even understand how like I just avoided him for like 10 days. Well, okay, how about the first 2 days weren't so bad? It was like 8 days.
Because I'm like, my luck's gotta fucking change, but it didn't.
No, I didn't expect it to. So all I want to say from this is that it's gonna be much harder this time because it's the last time and everyone's gonna be trying to do it. And if you want to make your significant other feel like I felt with you doing it, if you're as emotional as Pete is, I don't know, or you're gonna have to like leave your loved ones for 10 days in order to make those top 12 rankings. Like it's tight. So,
or if you really love your partner, there's a way to cheat.
What?
If you knew how to craft, I could have had you craft this shit for me when I was too tired to do it.
He's so mad at me.
And I only bring this up because I watched
He never said this.
I watched a work to game video, and like one of the actual things that people were cheating was
someone else is crafting for them.
Account sharing.
Yeah.
So it would be where if you were able to craft, which You obviously can't.
I can craft enough to Beast Tribe.
You could not craft a fucking
I can't craft that stuff.
Craft.
But I can craft.
But I remember there was one time, you probably don't remember, where I turned to you and I said, I wish you could do this shit.
I think I remember you saying that, but I didn't like register why you were doing it or saying that. But okay, yeah, I mean I get that, but no. I see I don't hate myself as much as you do.
Oh, I always hate myself. Don't worry. Let's move on from this. No one cares. Don't do it.
They were enjoying it quite a bit. It was like my salt for Dancer not being a healer, even though now I'm having fun throwing my chakras at people.
Are we on? What are we on? We were on Restoration of Ishgard that had 2 bullet points, and I went on for fucking 30 minutes about how much I hate myself for doing it.
Yeah. So there's going to be new Skysteel tools that'll be implemented, and they're going to have further enhancements. Yeah, so Aurora just said that actually rivals the Dancer Salt. I think so too, Aurora, because this is like our household for 10 days.
Well, now it's worth it.
Okay, no. So we're getting a new...
To do a podcast that's worth it if you're going to rage about it.
It's a new... we're getting a new Unreal trial. So,
Cape Westwind.
Shut up. I don't even know what they would do for that. So Yoshida did say that Shiva seemed too difficult. But I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be, but most of you will be hyped for it, I believe. That's basically all we really got. I hope it's Titan.
Wait, Shiva seemed too difficult?
I didn't actually think it... I thought for like an Unreal challenge, I felt like it was actually pretty good.
I mean, we did have a time of it last time in, but that was a lot of new people.
Three people. One person who hadn't gotten their clear and 2 pugs. That's like a lot of the group not being part of your group. But I suppose you're supposed to be able to beat this content with the pug. And the
servers were having like a lot of lag that night too. I feel like we're all over Unreal Trial. Like we're not getting enough of the faux leaves that it really seems like we're getting to the rewards quickly. So I don't know if people are really into it or not.
Well, I would never try to pug this. I guess it's difficult enough that I would never pug it. So maybe that is too difficult for the rewards that you're trying to get.
I would join a group if it was like ours, where it's like we're looking for 2 people to fill in. I would try it.
That's like, I don't know, that's if you're alone and then waiting for that perfect group to show up, that doesn't, I don't know, it'd be hard. It'd be hard to pug. Imagine an 8-man pug, like Chili just kind of said. Also, Erelon just asked if your salt was as good as...
No, he said imagine 8 pugs, and 8 pugs is fucking hilarious. I love pugs.
Erelon just said, was your salt as good as my Scholar salt at the beginning of Shadowbringers? And I don't know, because I was really upset about that. Like, they fucked up my job. That was personal. That was very personal.
8 pugs is
and that wasn't something I
shit,
chose
though.
to do. That was like they put that on me. Okay. All right, so we've got a new treasure map update with Peach. My Princess Peach.
Peach-Ass. I got an ass like a peach, baby.
My Princess Peach has an image to put up, which it's an artist rendering of what looks like what our maps already look like, pretty much. Or someone hadn't actually said, I'm wondering if this is like the Ligia is what they call it maps, and we're gonna get the because it's got the circles all around the edge.
Yeah, we're gonna have like even more roulette things.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the second half of the other ones where they did like the roulette, and I loved the roulette. I thought the roulette was way more fun than the other traditional dungeons.
It's because you don't feel like shit when you lose. You're like, like when you have to pick a door,
you're
like, I fucked up. But when it's just like
fault.
a random roulette, you're like, it's not my fault. I didn't pick that shit.
And when you win, it feels even better because you're like, oh my god, the chance of me winning was so rare. Like, yeah, I really enjoy these. So I actually am looking forward to these. I'll want to do maps again if that's the map style they're going for.
Yeah, I'm down with that one.
All right, Pete, you want to read about the ocean fishing update?
Ocean fishing and new routes are going to be added.
Actually, like the next 3 things you can read about because I don't care about any of these.
Additional mission and personal objectives. Completing the objectives will add bonus points to your score, and re-embarking after abandoning voyage will now be penalized. So I think that's the biggest issue for this is a lot of people, like if they didn't get that rainbow bonus round, would leave.
Oh.
Because they were trying to get the max score or get the score for the mountain minion.
So like if you left early, it wouldn't like negatively impact your score?
Yes. Well, if you left early, you'd be able to embark right away again.
Oh, that's
so now
up.
so now I think they're going to prevent you from being too get on there again.
I had fun ocean fishing, but I never really got into it. And I think that was because I hadn't leveled up all of the like gone back and done all the job quests for fishing.
I think it's more because they just didn't really explain how you need to trigger like the rainbow rounds.
Well, and when I went back and I leveled the fishing, and then nobody was really doing ocean fishing anymore. Like it wasn't the thing, and so then I just kind of forgot about it.
And unless they're adding new mounts and minions, I don't know what incentive people that already have them are going to do this.
Right. And I don't really want a shark following me around because fuck sharks.
So I'm good. I don't care if you added new routes. I don't care if you added new missions. I don't care if you added new objectives. If I'm not getting anything new from it, why am I going to do it?
Yep.
There's also going to be triple Triad updates. Rule and UI will be revamped for ease of play. New rules and tournaments will be added. A new rule set that allows you to battle opponents with a deck of randomly chosen cards has been implemented. And now they will periodically hold organized tournaments.
I thought you'd like this idea.
I don't know. I play triple Triad enough now. None of this really seems to get me to play it even more than I am now. I'm more getting it just to get new cards that I don't have. MGP is so abundant that I don't need to get MGP. So I don't even play the tournaments that much anymore. Mahjong updates. Mahjong, my dong. There have been a lot more players
so this is a quote. When there's a Y in front of it, that's a quote.
Yeah, Yoshida says, there have been a lot more players than we expected that still play Mahjong from time to time. Fuck you, first of all. I like Mahjong.
No, keep reading it.
You're like,
it's funny.
I didn't expect people to like
keep reading it.
Shit.
It's funny because he felt that way.
So we're going to add a quick match system. Quick match is now available and the UI will be adjusted. Now the Dora indicator can be changed to show the title before Dora instead. And then discard pile indicates whether a tile is Tsukiyomi, Sumikori, discarded immediately after it was drawn, or not.
Yoshida says, where are we putting our development funds?
Yeah, he's like... Yeah, I don't think Yoshida knows how to play Mahjong.
He doesn't. He actually, I somehow cut that, but he basically is like, I don't play that. But then there's responses. There have been streams of people gathering up in 14 just to play Mahjong. The original game is side content at this point. Like, it's become a whole thing.
Dude, if there was a thing to qualify, like if we had like in-person fan fest and there was a way to qualify for Mahjong, I would 100% do it. Like, I would try my absolute hardest to make the finals at a fan fest.
Like, I'd be in the merch line and you'd be playing Mahjong the entire fan fest.
I wouldn't know you.
That's actually kind of amazing. Mahjong esports tournament.
And then Chili. Like we have to have like a final. Like I qualified in the US. Then we have to have the US and the EU and the JP final all play together.
There might be like a Mahjong tournament completely separate from Final Fantasy XIV.
Look. I like Mahjong. I'm nowhere near the best. I'm 100%.
I'm just saying, if you really want to put some effort in.
Oh, I would absolutely 100% try way harder than I did for Restoration of Ishgard. And even if I lost, I'd be like, okay, I lost to someone that was better than me. Not, I lost to someone who has no job and can fucking play more than me.
Miscellaneous changes. Pete, are you super excited that there's new violin instruments that have been added?
Damn, I was jizzing to this. New violins, baby.
So this new system is actually not the violins, but this next comment is actually really interesting. So they're adding a new system for affixing multiple materia at once, which sounds really cool. But if you fuck it up, you are done.
I mean,
so it basically
whether or not you did the quick fuck yourself or the long fuck yourself.
Well, so what happens is if you start it and you don't mean to do multiple materias, it will use all of your materials, whether or not it's able to affix them, and it happens instantly, and there's no way to cancel it.
Yeah, but I mean...
I'm just really curious how many people get pissed off about it.
But that means you failed that many times. You would have failed if you tried manually every time.
Would you?
I mean, assuming they implemented the way they said they were going to implement it, yes.
Okay, I don't do that kind of materia affixing.
If you had 50 materia... and you're individually doing each one, meld, and it was blowing up, making that fucking vein in my head pop out.
That's why I don't craft.
I'd much rather lose it all at once and be like, okay, it took me fucking 34 to get it, and I'd rather have that all happen at once. So it was like ripping off a band-aid than it was watching me go like a fucking explosion. Then your character being like, fuck you.
This has been Pete. Pete has liked the F word in this week's episode. All right, so they've also added the ability to link quests in the chat window, which I think is wonderful, just like you would link like an item of gear. So when someone's asking, what quests do I need to do to unlock this? But there's one thing which I get, but I also think makes it a hindrance is if they haven't cleared the quest, then the quest you link is going to appear as all question marks in order to prevent spoilers. So if someone's saying, what quest do I need to do to unlock this? If they haven't done it, you can't link it. So that's an issue. But it's a great idea. But I feel like it's an idea that's like, that's great, but it's not going to help the people for the reason you would actually use it. Pete doesn't help people, so he doesn't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to spoil people with it.
Maybe if it was like, if they only treated that for the MSQ and not like side quests and things like that, because usually it's people like, how do I unlock the new Nier raid?
I would imagine it's just the MSQ.
That wasn't specified. It said it was a quest you hadn't cleared. So like,
because when they do patch notes, they'll have like MSQ where if it has a title that isn't going to spoil anything, it tells the title, but like there might be one right in the middle where it might spoil something with
right,
the title.
But I feel like with the way the coding is going to work for this is, has this person completed it? If yes or no?
They could do that, or they could just do like, hey, let's look at our patch notes. Anything that we blanked out, we'll just do that. I don't know. I
mean, but that would only affect recent stuff, and you don't want to spoil anyone along their entire journey.
No, like they did it with the patch notes as it was like
so
new.
Like the entire patch notes, all of the patch notes, those quests that are in that from like 1.0 or I guess a 2.0 on will be part of that. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like if that title of the quest like spoiled something for the future, then they would blank it out.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is you have to think of a person who just started the game today. So
I know, but if a quest is called getting orange juice, that's not really spoiling anything for the future. But if the title is called fucking Titan.
I understand what you're saying, but from the notes says if you haven't cleared it yet, it shows up as question marks.
Oh.
That's the verbiage. Like that's what was used.
I wasn't paying attention.
Obviously, like you're arguing like if they haven't cleared it, then it's not. And so it's a great idea, but usually you're only sharing quests with someone because they haven't done it yet.
Everyone's kind of at the same spot. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of seems kind of useless.
Yeah, like it's a great idea, but the like,
is it a great idea if it's shit?
Because of the like not wanting to prevent spoilers, it's hindered.
Obviously, like, it's a great idea, but not really.
Not implemented well. We'll see. All right, so PlayStation 5 updates. So the PS4 version of Final Fantasy XIV can be used to play on PlayStation 5, and the PlayStation 4 Pro settings in the system configuration will be available, and PS5 hardware will ensure quick load times. I'm sure if Chili's still here, he'll add some notes. He literally just typed. There have been no notes yet as to when or if Final Fantasy XIV will be released on PlayStation 5. So, yes.
I think eventually it will. It probably won't be until like the next expansion.
Well, we think, but my point wasn't no, it's not, but we haven't heard yes, it will. So that's kind of where it's at, but it's likely it will. And I know there's been a lot of conversation, and we've talked about it with Chili, is the holdup on expanding the capabilities of the graphics and of everything of Final Fantasy XIV isn't limited by PlayStation 4. It's actually limited by the incredibly low PC standards that Final Fantasy XIV has into place. So like you could basically play this on a brick. And that needs to be, I'm sorry for anyone playing this on a brick, but that needs to be adjusted so that I feel like console should be like the lowest common denominator for any PC game, because the whole point of playing PC is that you have the ability to make it better. But that's just my opinion. So even if it was just like PS4 was your lowest common denominator, cool. It doesn't need to be PS5 because that's obviously the newest, but it shouldn't be, PC shouldn't be lower than the oldest console that it's on. It's not even, like the new one's coming out. Just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, so have no fear if you're on the PlayStation 4, you're going to be able to play on the PlayStation 5.
Yep. And on the PlayStation 4 for a good long time.
And then hopefully on the PlayStation 5 eventually there'll be a more optimized thing.
Right, version. So another element that feels like it really feels like Final Fantasy XIV is focusing hard on glamour and like G-pose and RP side, which I mean they must be doing that because that must be a very large core of the player base, which I
mean, it's probably a larger player base than even does Raid.
Right,
Like,
which I'm not shaming that at all. I'm just it's not me. It's not how I play. So it's kind of news that's like people are really excited about that I'm not. They've added Explorer mode, and I mean I enjoy a good screenshot of my character, but it's not my focus. But now what that means is now you're going to be able to freely explore dungeons that you've previously completed that have been added within the 5.x series, with more to be added in the future. So like this is going to be the standard for dungeons added to the game going forward. And when you're in Explorer mode, no enemies will appear. All obstacles will be cleared. You can use minions, mounts, and even fashion accessories like everyone's favorite umbrella.
Parasol.
And finally, striking dummies can be placed in order to allow for actions to be used, and you can even use limit break 1, 2, or 3 while doing this.
So now I have to fucking keep a striking dummy in inventory?
I'm not really sure how the striking dummy is going to work in this sort of an instance.
Oh, it could be like G-pose where it's just like an option. Place a dummy.
Probably. Queuing for Explorer mode is going to be located in the same area where you designate Loot Master, Unsynced, or whatever within the queuing menu. That's where you're going to choose that you're going to go in there to explore and pose yourself in these dungeons and get all these different things. But yeah, so Esper in chat just said, I don't really care about glamour. I like to be able to see the old areas without having to worry about the party pushing me to get going personally. And I get that. I think that makes a lot of sense. But that was kind of also what the trusts were added for as well, since it's only the new dungeons and all the trusts can be used in the new dungeons. So like you could kind of take your time at that point. But you would have had to kill the enemies. I don't know. I don't know how much this adds to the game for me personally.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of screenshots from that, but like as you said, for you yourself, for me, not going to be very much. The only time I ever ran through dungeons is like after we finished a dungeon and I noticed not everyone was opening chests. I would run back through the dungeon.
Did you really?
And open all the chests, so I got all that loot. And for my decent.
That's actually really fun. I've never even done that. I'm usually I was the healer, so it was like I'm the one opening the chests as a healer.
Like,
so I'd be like,
when you're a tank and you're just like pulling wall to wall,
right.
And you're like, hey, no one's opening these chests. I'm gonna get them at the end.
That makes sense. You're actively seeing
so,
it.
Like, I mean, they could have just like activated Explorer mode like after you beat a dungeon.
They were kind of doing that. Like they were taking away the timer and then making the timer last a lot longer. But this big thing is that it also removes the obstacles because there are certain like areas you can't get past once you beat a dungeon.
Like, after you beat it, like just let you run through it with whatever you want to do.
They were kind of already doing that, but this just kind of makes it more G-post friendly.
Yeah,
that's what this is. This allows you to limit break and get those really cool screenshots. I feel like
this didn't really take that much development time to add, so I'm not mad at this.
No, I'm not mad at it. I'm like, it's just not exciting for me, and I'm happy for anyone this is exciting for.
Yeah, and I think we're closing in on 2 hours, Avi, so maybe we can get to this live letter Q&A, like the part 2 of this live letter.
Literally one page of stuff.
All right, if you want to get to it, Avi.
I mean, it's not worth putting into the next episode.
Is it basically that they're just making it blue like classic Final Fantasy?
Well, that's one question. So there's like 4 questions. So first of all, we had I don't want to get past his name. Where is it? I can't find it. So we have the person in charge of the UI design who joined Yoshi P for the end of this. Oh, here it is. We somehow skipped that. Kai Odegari, I'm probably messing that up. I'm not going to go into what UI design is because they did, and if you guys don't know UI design is, it's like the person who translate the concept into what you're actually accessing in the game. So the first question is, and these are the player requested questions.
Basically, when you do go into like HUD, like messing everything with your HUD,
literally every single interaction you have with the game is user interface.
They made all that.
They're the translator. So I do want to say I skipped through a lot of questions because a lot of them, they were related to UI, and most of the answers were, we'd like to do that, but it is impossible, or it would be more work than we're willing to put into it. So we're skipping that because it was the answer to so many questions. The ones that I added, this one has a couple images. The question was, are there any plans to add any more themes? And as Pete mentioned, this is the old school blue style from your older Final Fantasy 14 or Final Fantasy games. And I definitely think a lot of people are going to start using these because they're pretty cool looking.
I mean, it looks okay. I'm not a classic Final Fantasy fan, so it doesn't really mean much to me. But yeah, if you like it, I mean, all they had to do was change the background to blue.
No, they actually have to take into account, they talked about the letters and making sure that the different languages, the alphabets can fit into the design and everything that they do. There's a little bit more to it.
Sure, Square Enix, sure.
Second question is, I sometimes want to decide what party members use as emotes when I G-pose. I don't mind if it would be like the replay recording feature where they have to agree to it, but can you implement it so I can pick their emotes? And I actually fully agree with Yoshi's response, which is, this is my policy. No, we're not going to do that. Like, I actually appreciate that he's not going to let you control other people's characters.
Says, this is my policy, but no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, well, that's the translation.
He's like, yeah, I wish everyone would do what I say, but I'm not going to make people do what I say.
So the third question was, when screenshotting battle actions, I have trouble pausing at the right time. Can you implement a scroll bar-like feature that would make it easier? I've honestly thought this myself sometimes.
And he said, no, get good.
He says, we are working on a slow motion feature, but we're running into a lot of problems, so it's on hold. And to be honest, there are moments that might make a screenshot look very unfavorable in terms of rating, and we can't make that too easy. So basically, he's like the friend who needs to approve all their photos before you post them on social media.
What do they mean in terms of rating? To be honest, there are moments that might make a screenshot look very unfavorable in terms of rating.
Rating of the game, like either it looks sexual in nature.
Oh, okay. I think like rating, like how good you are.
And then he continues with, we're already fighting a very close battle with the cutscenes like in E8S. Rating.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Last question. Please tell us about the upcoming features for G-Pose. And to be completely honest, we're kind of running out of ideas. We have a few in the early stage, but nothing we could talk to you about even yet. And Yoshi says, I recently asked the UI team to make a guide on how to actually use G-Pose. That was my last request to them. I thought this was kind of funny and very Pete, actually. And he says, too many players have no idea what G-Pose actually does. Some don't even know how to start it. It's something that has been worked so hard on, and we should make the entry a lot easier and more welcoming. A lot will enter G-Pose and just leave it instantly because they have no idea what to do or how it works.
So from now on, every half hour, they're just automatically putting you into G-Pose.
And Yoshi says, I always expose myself somehow to someone who isn't comfortable with it, or whenever I clear something.
That was a TMI. He's
Pete,
exposing himself to...
Pete, that was a translation. Don't be a dick. When I clear something in Walking with Yoshi P and we try to take a screenshot, the comments go, oh, looks like Yoshi P doesn't know how to use it either. And then I just close G-Pose and hit the print key instead.
Plebe.
So yeah, like, you're not alone. If the G-Pose function is intimidating to you, even Yoshi P is like, there's too many buttons, fuck it, I'm just gonna hit print screen.
Yeah. Yoshi P exposed himself?
Pete, fucking hell, man. It's dumb.
That's what Oakenhop said. Just reading chat, baby. Baby.
So, FanFest update.
All FanFests have now been canceled. They also announced that they will be hosting an event in February 2021 to announce new information, and a 14-hour broadcast will be held the same day. Yoshi says, I don't know what new info it might be, but it's going to be Final Fantasy XIV announcing new things. Amazing quote, Yoshida. They did make a mention, but no specifics, that FanFest is going to be digital, global, 2 days, in digital form online, and in May. Just for my birthday.
I think I scrolled down too far. So and then there's going to be a new Lodestone feature implemented titled Community Finder.
This might be one of the coolest things that came from this live letter?
It's going live October 13th, and this will be a resource for players to recruit and find in-game communities. And you can register your free company or link shell and add your own tags, and you can also open this website from within your launcher or game. And ever the clever bunch, Square Enix, in order to encourage players to use this community launcher, have created an event to... I don't know what I typed there. To in-game items, to like give away in-game items from Tuesday, October.
Did you mean earn?
Earn, I think I did. Earn in-game items. Ear. This is a lot of writing. I did all this, you guys. From October 13th through October 27th, if you post a free company recruitment listing in the community finder during the campaign, you will receive in-game items to share with your members. Pete, there's an image for this one. And they have a couple images. One of them looks really similar to the emote from the Songbirds Cheer, which is like has the little mini lightsabers. And then the one next to it looks like some fireworks, which is like, meh, whatever. And then the quote that they did say was, "A little campaign. If you post a recruitment, we will give you a lots of O's of fireworks." So maybe no emote and just a bunch of like random crap that you don't actually care about.
Yeah, I don't want fucking fireworks.
Yeah, I don't care about. I don't care about fireworks. So. Meh.
But I think it is amazing that they're giving people a way to advertise their FCs.
Yeah.
There's going to be a way now for people to search for FCs. So that's pretty amazing. And link shells as well. So, like I said, that's kind of one of the coolest things that came from this live letter.
I hope so. I hope it ends up being a really cool like community building element.
And the Golden Joystick Awards, Final Fantasy XIV has been nominated for not one, not two, but 3 Golden Joystick Awards. The categories are Still Playing Award, Best Game Expansion, and Best Gaming Community. You can vote until November 2nd, and we will have the link in the show notes. I remember last year it was also nominated for Best Gaming Community, and I was a little salty when they lost. I can't even remember what they lost to. I think it was Destiny.
I remember you being salty about that.
I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, so if you love Final Fantasy 14 and you want to show them a little love, you can go and vote in the Golden Joystick Awards. And
so they shared all the new merch, but we talked about a lot of the new merch, like I think last week. And so the one piece that they talked about that was super new was new. It isn't even available outside of Japan just yet. And so it was the Final Fantasy XIV print collection, which is like a tentative name. And it's a collection of high quality framed prints, which was listed, and again has an image for Pete to share, as 30,000 yen or almost $300. I don't actually even know how many prints you get for this, but it will be released in the beginning of December, at least in Japan. So we'll wait for more updates on this. The images are gorgeous. It's Titania and it's the Crystal Exarch, or what they show, and they are very well done. So can't wait to see what else they have.
Very cool. And now we're gonna get to the Community Roundup, partner. And this week it's for the Stellazzio Virtual Theatre. They are doing another performance. It's going to be the Phantom of the Opera. So you need to save the date for one of these 3 dates, but 2 times for one of the dates. Friday, October 23rd, 6 p.m. Central Time. Saturday, October 24th, 6 p.m. Central Time. Sunday, October 25th, 1 p.m. Central Time. And Sunday, October 25th, 6 p.m. Central Time. They're going to be performing the Phantom of the Opera. So you are not going to want to miss this. We'll have all the links to Stellazzio Virtual Theatre YouTube, so you can check out some of their past performances if you want to see what it's all about.
I do have a question, Pete. Do you know the answer to, are they going to be singing?
I do not know that.
Because I don't know how you do Phantom of the Opera without singing, so I was curious.
Usually everything is done in-game.
Oh, so there's no audio. Okay.
So,
which is still, it's still a wonderful story.
I watched the trailer, and I think I had audio on, so I don't think I heard any singing.
Okay.
But we'll have links to the trailer
Chili
as
says the Moogle
well.
Troupe will be doing music. I don't know.
Okay.
So cool.
So, yeah, Stellazzio Virtual Theatre, you need to save those dates, and it's going to be on the Crystal Data Center on Diabolos. So if you want to go check this out in person, you need to go make an alt on Crystal if you're not already there, and just make it so you can get to the Goblet. It's going to be in the Goblet. So
Start in Ulda.
Start in Ulda.
It's one of the easier housing zones to get to
Yes.
as a starting character.
Right outside the gate.
Yep.
Western Thanorland.
All right. So on that note, that is going to be it for this episode. As always, we've enjoyed hanging out with all of you live here on Twitch. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button so you'll know the next time we will be going live. And a great big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and the app that came out while I didn't have a voice, because I'm sure it did. You really are the reason we keep making episodes. And remember, wherever you do listen, it would mean a shit ton to us if you gave our little shit podcast a rating or a review. Or more importantly, tell a friend to check us out. Here with Vegan Pete, I am Avi Ale, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Make sure you vote.
And that.
Goodbye.